How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to talk about the many things that are here in Heaven Burns Red when it comes to a lot of the banners that are able to be summoned on. Not only do we have Niina and Isuzu for their banner right now for the onsen event, we also have Hisame and also looking at Aina in this banner here. So there are a couple of good things to look at when it comes to not only some of the really nice value units that we have like Aina and like Isuzu off of this event. Sadly, there's no shared pity between these two. That is a little bit upsetting. I would have assumed they would have had the same pity. Yeah, they don't share pity. That kind of sucks. But today we are going to talk about which ones are more worth it, what characters are probably in the priority list of pulling on. Realistically, is not too hard to skip a lot of these characters, just because we do have Inori, who just passed by, who is going to be getting their buff very soon. And with that being said, that just trumps overall pulling plans for a lot of people. And then not only that, Angel Beats is coming out in a couple of weeks too, so there's a lot of really exciting stuff coming out with all these characters being here. But not only are we going to talk about these characters here specifically, I also want to give a little bit of a tip or something of a checklist to go after, because this wish list recruitment, although it is paid, this is a really crazy banner. And the reason why I say this is because this goes all the way up into light Niina. We have Aina here as well, we have Isuzu here as well, and this just carries every character in the game that has been released up until now. So this is actually a really strong banner. I thought I had Waki. This is a really strong banner when it comes to a lot of the characters that you may not have. And today I'm going to be talking about not only some of the units that are currently on banner, but maybe some characters you should probably pick up off of this banner if you are going to be pulling on this paid banner. Like, again, this is going to be paid, so it does suck that that's the case, but this is a really cool banner to have, and especially since it goes all the way up to Aina and Isuzu and Niina, you just have the whole assortment of characters that you can pull from in Heaven Burns Red. So going into the characters that we should talk about first, we should of course talk about the on banner characters. And with the on banner characters, we have Niina and we also have Isuzu. Now Niina realistically isn't going to be the craziest in the world when it comes to how much damage she's doing compared to a lot of the other light units. She is an okay light unit to use, and other than that, there's really not that much else to say about this character. She does have a pretty high hit count when it comes to how much hits she's going to be doing, so this allows for pretty good OD gauge. But this is something that other characters like Light Ruka can be able to, I guess, say go against something like Niina. So although she is a little bit more of a recent attacker, she's definitely by far not the best attacker, and even more so with Inori that just passed by. If you pull her, there's kind of no reason to pull any other attackers. And then for the next one, she is going to be what you really want in terms of pulling on that banner specifically, which would be of course the AoE defense down and the AoE DP defense down, which this is going to be really nice to have when it comes to going against a lot of the future bosses, a lot of the current day bosses, with how great their DP bars are going to be, and also just reducing their defense as well. It's just a really good overall move. And not only that, it only costs 10 SP, so you could load up a 10 SP bar and then you have the next SP ready with overdrive to be able to stack it twice. Not only are you going to have double defense down, you would also have double DP defense down, which is really great. The other thing about this is that with Inori, this is a very general debuff style unit. So if you don't have Mia, if you don't have Aina, this is a really good character to have when it comes to the debuffs that she's able to give. But besides these two, the only other character that is worthwhile mentioning is going to be Aina, because she is going to have that fragile that is AoE, which is really nice. And not only that, you also have a AoE defense down off of Aina's common skills from one of her S ranks or one of her A ranks, as one of the two, but those are going to be able to be coupled together. So not only do you have fragile, you also have a defense down for AoE. So there's a lot of really good utility that comes from this Aina, and not only that, you also have the ability to boost up your overdrive gauge by 50%, which is pretty nice. You do have 4 chances to use it, so that's about 2 overdrive gauges, which is really nice and can save you some turns when it comes to, let's say, grinding out tiers, when it comes to saving turns on the score battles to be able to clear faster, or to be able to just speed up the rotation when it comes to the free SP that you're getting from your overdrive. This character specifically is going to be a very strong unit, but there is something to make note of right now, which is going to kind of go into our which character you should pull off of that paid banner, is that Aina is going to be the first of her kind for her character. She is going to be the first SS for this specific Memoria. Because it's the first SS of this specific Memoria, she will be available in the future when it comes to a redeemable shop to be able to buy SS1 copies of characters. So for those that don't have Aoi, SS1 with Angel Wings, for those that don't have Aina, for the overdrive gauge, she will eventually be I guess you could say pulled on or redeemed through a shop that you will be getting currency from various different events that happen in the game, and also from a bunch of like score battle milestones. The same thing with anachronies, you're going to be getting it in that fashion. So Aina, although a very, very strong character without a doubt, is a character that can be waited on. And this goes for a lot of this patch. Isuzu is a really nice debuff for what she's able to do with DP defense down and also with regular defense down, but realistically not the most important thing in the world, especially if you already have a pretty good debuffer. And same thing goes for Niina. Niina as well, not the craziest of light attackers, not the craziest of any attackers, again with the many characters that we have right now, like Thunder Ruka, who's able to do defense down. We have Thunder Aoi with one of the highest damage ceilings in the game right now at the current moment. We also have Inori, who's about to get their buff. It's just not really a lot of attackers that are basically going to be near her in terms of level. She's like way underneath them in tiers. And then Aina, again, can be bought from a shop later down the line. It depends how long you want to wait. Do you want to get her now and reap the benefits of her value now? That'd be a pretty good thing. And she's also going to work very well with her future SSs, because you can put this overdrive gauge move onto those SSs, which could provide a lot of value. Other than that, if you don't mind waiting, if you already have a good debuffer that's able to do a lot of these things for you, then it probably might not be a bad reason to skip. Now, going into one of the main things, and sadly I don't really want to talk about Hisame, because Hisame just really doesn't have much going for her either. She's not going to really be doing an insane amount of damage when it comes to things compared to Yuina, where she's able to give herself dark defense up when it comes, not dark defense, dark attack up, and she's able to give herself dark crit up. So there's a lot of really good stuff that comes from those characters, though realistically not the best thing in the world when it comes to these banners that are here right now. There are some good characters, but we have a lot of Goliath coming out really soon with Angel Beats and all of them. So going into the game itself, we see that we have the wish list recruitment. Now at the top of the list, we are going to see that they're going to prioritize characters that you don't have, because of course, why do you want dupes? You realistically want new copies of characters rather than not. So when it comes to the list of characters that I would think a lot of people would like, we have to think about it in 2 ways. Do you want the characters now? Do you care about how long it takes for you to grab these characters? Or do you just want the most bang for your buck, future-proof type characters? 2 of these, in a way, are going to conflict with each other, because I would 100% say for certain characters like Yinxia is by far one of the crazier characters in the game at the moment, and isn't going to be power crept until Diva Ruka comes out. So Yinxia is a really great character, but there is going to be a shop, like I said, that is going to allow you to grab these SS1 characters for free after a certain amount of time. But you have 10 Memoria that you can pick from. If I had to give my take on which characters you should pull from these 10 Memoria that you can grab out of all these characters, I'm going to try my best to not include that many SS1s, because like I said, they can be bought in the future for free. But if I do include an SS1, it's because of how strong they have their utility wise, and also just because they're probably really good. And I'll explain all of that right now. Some of the more higher priority characters are going to be the premium fielders, 100%. Just because I do think, although yes, Inori is coming, there's definitely a certain amount of teams that you probably have built already or are building that you don't want to just fully neglect them, in my honest opinion. This can be taken in any other way, in regards to, if you don't want to pull them, I am going to have other substitutions and then you can pick from there. Other than that, you do as you will. But I will say that for the first few characters, Light Tsukasa and also Fire Megumi are definitely going to be some really good pulls, just because they are giving the crit rate and crit damage plus light field for Tsukasa, really good AoE, and then Fire Megumi is able to get fire defense down plus or enhanced field. So those two characters are really great right now when it comes to the utility that they're going to give for those teams, if you so happen to want to invest in light or for fire and Megumi wise. The next character is going to be, in my honest opinion, Saika 2. Saika 2 is just really strong. She's giving crit rate, she's giving crit damage, she's giving DP. She can inherit the thunder field move from Saika SS1, which allows her to work beautifully on thunder teams, which is a really good character. I think Saika SS2 is really worthwhile. And although yes, Sutama is coming very soon, and she's basically gonna be fulfilling the role Saika is. You still need multiple teams for, of course, Anachrony. That's something to make note of. You need teams for Anachrony, you need teams for the Astrium. So it's not like Saika's gonna be gone forever. She is going to be replaced by Sutama, but it doesn't immediately mean that Saika has no value. I do think Saika is still a really good character without a doubt. Besides Saika, like I said, I really want to stay away from SS1 units because they will be available in the future for free. But if they give a crazy amount of value, I'm just gonna have to include them anyway. Besides Saika and the fire fielders, or the fielders period, which are Tsukasa and Megumi, there are going to be some other ones that are going to be really great. Aina, again, if you really don't want to wait for her to be free in the future, Aina could be a really good pickup for general buff wise, or general debuff wise, which is a really good character. Another one that is going to be really nice as well is going to be Mia, if I can find her. Mia SS2 is a really strong character. Where the heck is she? I do not see her on this list. Oh, there you go. Mia SS2 is also a really good character. Very good general debuffer when it comes to applying fragile and defense down at the same time. AoE at that. And not only that, she's only going to get stronger in the future with also being able to work with light teams because of the SS1 that has the light field. She can inherit that move, and that gives you a really strong debuffer and a really strong supportive character for the light teams. And she's only going to get stronger as the master skill comes out in the future. So right now we have the fire fielder, the light fielder, we have the, I'm trying to figure out everybody else all at the same time. It's gonna get a little crazy. Aina potentially. We're also looking at Mia, so that's 4 at the current moment. Besides Saika, so fire fielder, light fielder, Aina, Mia, and then Saika. I think those are some really strong contenders for picks. The next one is going to be Yinxia, because Yinxia, like I said, isn't going to be power crept until Diva Ruga comes out, so she's always a pretty good pickup. After that is Inori, because Inori's Inori. She's gonna get her buff soon. She's gonna basically plow through the rest of the game once it comes out. After that, I do think Mua is 100% a character that you really want to pick up as well, because Mua is going to allow you to be able to give Mind's Eye to the backfield and also heal the whole team with an overheal on top of that. So that's really strong and really good for a majority of teams, and it's just a really good general supportive character. And again, does get technically replaced by Tama, but it's going to cost a lot of SP to be a healer and also a supportive character. So Mua is still a really good character even with Tsutama's release. After that, I do think it's Yotsuha, because Yotsuha is still by far one of the strongest elemental buffers in the game, with giving crit rate, crit damage, and attack, if I'm not wrong, for fire. But Yotsuha is really good for fire, and a really good character to have, especially with Angel Beats coming soon. We should be getting the free fire unit that's going to allow us to have a free fire attacker, and having a Yotsuha will raise the living crap out of the power you're going to get out of that unit. So Yotsuha, Mua are definitely going to be those characters. So I'm trying to remember if we have all of our 10 for who I think would be a general pretty good pickup, which is Fire Fielder Megumi, Tsukasa for light field, Aina for general debuff. Oh, Isuzu could also be good, but that's not one I'm going to count yet. So Aina, light fielder and fire fielder. We have the, trying to make sure I get everything right, Ginksha, Inori, Saika, Mua, Yotsuha, Mia, SS2, and what else was there? I feel like I'm forgetting one. I might be forgetting one, but y'all probably remember the list. But those are the majority of the characters that you probably want. If you want to take away characters like Ginksha, when it comes to being an SS1 unit, same thing with Aina, you could easily replace those as characters that either you like personally, or that you think will be pretty good to have. So how I have certain other characters that are pretty good, like Dark Yuina is a really good attacker. Even if you have a Nori, if you are already working on certain teams and you really like Dark or you really like Yuina, then this is a good character to pull on. Same thing with Kanzaki. Kanzaki's a really good ice unit. Attacking wise, Maid Aoi is a really good character for Thunder. Very good alternative for the many Thunder characters that we're gonna get in the future if you already invest into that team. SS1 Aoi is definitely a good pickup. Angel Wings is just good no matter what, and can save you a lot of times in the future when it comes to fighting certain bosses. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it when it comes to all the characters that are in the game, and other characters too, like having Isuzu as well in the banner could help you out, or any other characters that you possibly need in the game. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.